So recently, while I was painting a mini, I was listening to Nerdrotic and the boys having some discussion in the background about Lord of the Rings or something. So I tend to have them on as background noise in the house. No offense to them at all, but it's nice to have just some noise in the house. So, however, Nerdrotic said something about the War of the Rohirrim movie that came out in 2024, I think. Something about it being a Tolkien story through a feminist lens, and my ears sort of perked up at that. Now, I actually rather enjoyed this movie. I saw it with my sister. One, because it was The Lord of the Rings, and I have been, since I was about 12 and picked up the first book, a huge Lord of the Rings fan. And two, because it was anime. Both my sister and I are total anime nerds. Yes, I proudly wear my obnoxious anime t-shirts to the gym. You only have one life. Live it, enjoy it, wear anime merch. So my immediate thought when I heard Nerdrotic's opinion was, oh, I wonder if he has seen a lot of anime movies, because War of the Rohirrim was so anime coded. There are these really particular feelings and emotional beats and emotional structures to something that is anime coded in my mind. But I think the one that is important to mention here is the melancholic feminine strength. It's deep emotional storytelling seeped in emotional duty. Very female coded, I suppose. Basically, what I mean by this is that after my sister and I left the cinema and had a discussion about the movie, which is something my family regularly does when we go to the movies, we gushed about how much we liked the story. We'd have preferred if it had been a romance-focused story, but oof, that's asking a lot these days, looking at you, Disney Wish. The idea of a royal lady being left behind in a war is achingly painful to think about as a woman. It burns a place deep inside me when I see it on screen or read it in a novel. That thought of having to say goodbye, knowing you'll never see your loved ones, is so awful to think about. Then to top it all off, to brutally witness your whole family murdered in front of you and realise now that you must defend your people. Oh yeah. That's a fantastic call to adventure for a princess or a prince. What truly frustrates me is that this story archetype already exists beautifully in anime and in fantasy. A princess left behind during a war, forced to defend her people after losing her whole family. It's a deeply emotional, bitter tale of the last line of defense after all has fallen, and there is a single candle left burning, a princess in a tower, alone. This is a story that should be told. But it did not need to wear Tolkien's skin. It could have stood on its own 2 feet as something separate. It could have been a movie like Scarlet or Maquia when the promised flower blooms, or The Girl Who Jumps Through Time, or Belle, or Nausicaä the Valley of the Wind, or Princess Mononoke. Basically most of the Studio Ghibli films, to be honest. I feel it's a bit of an overgeneralization to simply lump a film like War of the Rohirrim in as a Tolkien story told through a feminist lens. It's a story that should have been its own tale, and it is disappointing that, in a way, Lord of the Rings was hijacked to tell that tale. It really, really didn't need to be. I get it, I really do. As someone who has spent years trying to get published, only to realise my stories didn't fit the new ideological trends that publishers have wanted, I understand why people are super sensitive to this topic, but I also think that we've become way too quick to reduce every female-led story into propaganda. That diminishes the incredible stories that are out there. The human experience is stories. Stories are how humans battle with grief and courage, fear, love, sacrifice, and loneliness, and, most importantly, hope. We're always going to be telling them through myths, through anime and fantasy, through Tolkien. And I really hope through princesses defending burning kingdoms. And honestly, I think that's one of the most marvelous things about us, that we just keep telling stories. And I hope we never stop. Thanks so much for listening to me ramble about this. I really appreciate it, guys. And I'll catch you next time. Please like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And Yeah. Bye.